Steve Webster and Tony never again headed at Donington last August and went on to win their third World Championship in succession. It was a triumph for advanced technology and brilliant teamwork. But the team has changed for 1990, with Gavin Simmons now the brave man on the chair.
Absolutely magnificent meeting.
Well, brave they may be, but I must be mad. I've taken the place of Gavin Simmons on the chair, and Steve Webster is hurling me around a very picturesque but torturous Campbell Park circuit. Not like the nice open Silverstone. This is hard, hard work for both driver and his passenger. Let's see how we get on.
The modern outfit is more like a car than a bike, with the passenger acting as movable ballast, shifting his weight around to get the best grip on the corners, the best acceleration out of the bends, and to offer the least wind resistance down the straights. With a top-class passenger on board, the driver can assume the weight will be just where he wants it at just the right time, and so drive the machine right on the limit. For the passenger, it's essential to be strong and agile. Plus, you have to trust the driver enough not to need to look where you're going. In fact, the sound of the engine can often be your cue to change position. But to see how the bike itself works, you first have to undress it. With the bodywork removed, we can see the basic structure of a sidecar outfit, centred upon this monocoque backbone chassis that features cantilever suspension, both front and rear, all built by the LCR company in Switzerland. The suspension has spring damper units mounted inside the monocoque itself. There's no suspension at all on the sidecar wheel, but it does have a brake, and all three brakes are operated by this one brake pedal. The engine is developed on a Krauser crankcase built specially for sidecars in Germany, and it features two twin-cylinder Yamaha engines, giving a total of 4 cylinders with 4 carburetors and 4 exhaust pipes. Total power output then around 140 brake horsepower. And that power is delivered to this one 10-inch wide racing slick wheel through a conventional chain drive. Beside that, the sidecar rider's platform. And to see how the rider does his work, we'll need the bodywork back on. Gavin Simmons was on hand to show me how it's done. On the straight, tucked down behind the fairing for least resistance. On the right-handers, all the weight over the driving wheel for better grip. Moving across to the left, your shoes brush the tarmac. In fact, I had to build up the platform to save my toes. These days, your left hand never moves from its vertical post, and it should be your posterior rather than your head and shoulders that hangs out over the side. Well, I've been busy rehearsing those positions, and all I need now is a driver. Who better than the current world champion Steve Webster? And I guess now I've run out of excuses. Time for me to get my helmet and get on that platform.
Now it's time for the action. I've got my left hand gripping hard. That's going to stay there all the time, that's for sure. Up into this long sweeping left before Charlie's and up and out. Over the right-hand wheel, giving weight to that side as we sweep into Charlie's. And then out onto the straight, tucked in. But this is a nice cosy bit down here as we're up to speed. End of the straight, coming to the tight park corner. Now over the rear wheel, helping the braking, and then helping the right-hander. Accelerating now into the gooseneck. Probably find that this is where Gavin Simmons will probably be looking down like this, getting his helmet over the wheel, but I'd rather be looking up here, to be honest, seeing where we're going. Through the gooseneck. Transfer for the left, braking for Mansfield, and out, looking at the tarmac, getting back over. There's a bit of a climb, and then braking for the hairpin. Well, I think that was only half speed, but I think now I'm in for some trouble. really building up. My left leg muscles aching as we slide out onto the straight, and I'm getting down for a breather.
But I'm actually too tall to hide behind the fairing, and I'm buffeted by the 120-mile-an-hour airstream before the fierce braking into the tight right-hander at park. This long, flat section should be easier, but I can't lock my left leg straight, and that means holding on tighter with that lower right hand. Kneeling ahead of me, Steve seems unconcerned about carrying a novice passenger, but I know he could go quicker through the gooseneck if I could switch to the left quicker. Down to Mansfield, and I ought to be sticking my bottom out, but I'm happier to make do with head and shoulders. It's better on this lap, but it's certainly exhausting. A Grand Prix can last 40 minutes, so Gavin must be super fit to keep going that long at racing speeds. I train regularly, yet I'm pretty knackered after a quick 3 laps around Cadwell. And if you imagine I'm exaggerating the danger, remember, even the experts can make mistakes.